Hey, welcome to the Toolshed. We're glad you stopped by this morning. How are we, Eddie?
Oh, man, we are fantastic.
I wish we had some props.
Yeah, I don't know, like
but
no.
We're going to talk about some of these things.
Yep.
We're going to talk about all of these things today. Hey, the Toolshed is a place where you can come and you can sharpen the tools. And this whole season's been about the huddle.
All about it.
All about a meeting, all about how you huddle with your team, how long you huddle with your team. Today we're going to share some really good tips and things that we like to do when we do training.
You've read them?
And we've learned from other people. And this wonderful, one-of-a-kind tool shed's brought to you by Schedule Engine. Today's episode, all about training, is sponsored by our good friends over at Emerson. So thank you to Emerson for doing this, letting us do this.
Awesome. I love these deep dive episodes where we continue the theme. We go just a little bit deeper in a subject than we normally have time. And today is probably, I don't know what you get asked, but the number one thing I get asked is, my team finds training boring or it's not engaging, and how do you get people excited? How do you get people to retain information? How do you get people to show up? And all of those things. And so we just put a little bit of stuff together to show. We actually have both been fortunate enough to create a little space. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be a corner of your shed, your warehouse, wherever you are, just like we're doing here. But we invested a little bit, and we're just going to share. Each of these things here are things that we've used. We'll explain where to get them, what they do, but more importantly, why we use them, because everything has a purpose beyond just being fun and colorful and keeping my ADD in check.
Yeah, and listen, you can. The catch is you just got to start. You just got to start. Listen, I've trained all over the country, and I've trained in a room. I think it was a closet, and we had 6 people in there, and everybody had to stand up because there was not room for 6 chairs.
That's all good. We call that stand up.
I've trained in a casino in the buffet line.
It's true.
This is true. I've trained in a restaurant, like in an Olive Garden. We rented a room in Olive Garden. I've trained there. So wherever your room is, it's okay. It can be your office. It can just be your office. But it could
be on the back of your truck on site. Here's the deal.
Just do it.
Yeah. So why don't we go through it? You want to pick one, and I'll pick one. Why don't you start?
Hey, we'll start with.
Why don't you start with your thing on the end there?
We'll start with.
That's kind of how the day.
That's how I want to start. So hey, we want to start with setting the room up. So if you're going to have a little training room, you want to set that room up. First thing is it cannot sound like a funeral when all of your people come to work that day.
Dun, 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 dun.
I flew to California one time to train this company, and it was their sales team, and I'm sitting around, just me and the sales team. And I said, now how often do you guys have like a huddle? How often do y'all have a meeting? They said, yeah, we don't have those anymore. They sucked, and we just quit having them.
That's the answer.
I know, right? And so you gotta have as a manager, as a supervisor, as a trainer, somebody that's holding the meeting.
Yeah.
You're the thermostat.
Ooh.
So you get to control the temperature, and part of that is having music. And so we always have like a speaker, and we have some really good music. And somebody that I really look up to told me one time, Jerry, don't play the music you like, play the music they like.
Right on.
And it's loud enough to where we have to talk loud.
Just a little bit, yeah.
And so they come into an upbeat sound in the room, right? And then you can do like footballs, ping pong, just give them something to play around. A beach ball in a training room is maybe one of the funnest things you could do.
One of the things that the music helps. I don't maybe this seems familiar. You know, it doesn't matter what time the meeting starts. There's somebody on your team that's going to get there like 30 minutes early. You can start it for 5 o'clock. He's going to be there at 4:30, and they're going to be there, and they're going to be quiet, and you're going to go in, and they'll be like sitting there like a funeral, right? And what that does is the next person comes in and goes, got it. And they go to the other side of the room and they sit. And in today's world, what they do is they pull out their phone and the head down third person comes in. And so they're all being conditioned. And after like 8 meetings like that, That's what they do. And you come in and you're all like, you've been at a conference or you've watched the Toolshed and you're all like, hey, kids. And they're like, what? And there's a complete cognitive disconnect. And so a little bit like that, it's sort of like, when you go into a quiet space as a kid, you're conditioned to shh. But when you go into like spaces where there's some volume, again, not crazy loud, but loud enough to know that this isn't a library, it's not a funeral home, and we can talk. And so not every group struggles with this, but this also is sort of this Pavlovian anchor that trains people like, oh, that's right, this is what we're doing. It's a conditioning response to help them expect not just a fun time, but an engaging time where we learn things that make our life better. So big fan of that.
So listen, if you create the perfect customer, right, there's no perfect customer. You create that perfect customer. You create a perfect training environment. Like if you walk into a restaurant, they have music playing. It's hospitality, right? And so you relax a little bit. And so I love having music. If you have some commercials, television commercials for your company, put that on a loop and you can play it on the television just over and over and over. Something going on.
To set the tone. Okay, one of my favorite tool is this. I put one of these at every chair, every table. There's just a little panic flag, and you can get them at wherever you get these, I guess. I got these online. But they're super instructive. Welcome to the Toolshed. No, this is, these, I call these BS flags. And here's the deal. Have you ever had a meeting, you've rolled out a process, product, something, and everyone's like, yeah, any question? No. And then either right after the meeting, you hear a conversation by the dumpster, because there's always two meetings. There's a meeting in the room, then there's a meeting like, that guy's crazy, right? And your job is to get all of that out the head and have a conversation right there. And this is a tool that says you're allowed to have an opinion. And you have a little fun with it, and I've yet to put these on a place, and they're like, oh, do we get to throw these at you? That's why I bought the soft ones.
And they do throw them at you, and I tend to embellish a little bit when I train.
Stop it.
Sometimes, and people throw these at me, and it's fun, and but they'll call a flag. No, man, I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, and it's great. You're like, it's wonderful.
Awesome.
Tell me why. Let's talk about it. Because anything they have in the head, that you want to have that conversation in the room. That's literally the point of the room. You don't want them having that conversation with the customer. And this little magic tool, I think it was Dan Pink, talks about agency. Everybody wants to have a say in their career. Everybody wants to have a say on a team they're on. This is the magic tool to do. It's like, hey, man. And because it's fun, you've depressurized it. So get yourself some BS flags. Pro tip, watch for people putting like ball bearings in those before you throw them. Maybe not.
Pro tip. Hey, here's a good one. A thumb ball. Right hey, a lot of the things we're talking about you can find at trainerswarehouse.com.
Yepper.
All right, and this episode's not sponsored by them,
but
we should talk about that, right? And so this is called a thumb ball, and it's just a really good opener.
Why is it called a thumb ball, Jerry?
Because wherever your thumb lands, you read that one, it says, hey, what if your mortgage was paid off? And people answer that. This one says, what if you won $1,000? What if you could be a farmer, right?
And they make blank versions of these. They make sales versions of these. They make them for call centers. I think they pretty much make them for everything. And what we did is, the blank one, we got a label maker, and we put the questions on, all the stuff that techs get. And so sometimes your meeting gets done 10 minutes early. We toss this around. It's like, I can buy it cheaper at Home Depot, or it was working until you touched it, or you guys are always trying to say, the stuff that, and it's a fun way to talk about the stuff you know is real. But why I really like these ones is we talk about like engaging. We don't have the music. We have a meeting, and then we go, what do you guys think? And that's the first question. Or, hey, what do you guys remember about this? Or why do you guys do this? And it's the first question we ask, and there's a right and wrong answer, and that's a risk. People don't like taking risks. You toss them something to get the ball rolling, and
that's
it's like,
right.
What did you want to be as a kid?
Yeah.
There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer. Like if you could have a dream vacation somewhere, where would you go? There's no wrong answer. And so you're creating cognitive safety, and you're getting the ball rolling.
Yeah,
no pun
absolutely.
intended.
Yeah, if somebody says, hey, what's your favorite 2 cookies? And they've been sitting there on their phone, like you talked about earlier, for 30 minutes because like nobody's in the office.
Right
and then you ask them a question while you're training, Like, that's the really first time they spoke to anybody that morning. So this thumb balls work great. Eddie uses them. I use them all the time. First time I ever saw Eddie McFarlane do a workshop, he broke out a thumb ball in front of about 35 people at a conference, and I thought, I wrote down, get a thumb ball.
I love it. You know, the other thing this does is creates connection points. When like some of these fun ones, it's like, hey, if you could have any career, what would you do? And somebody says, oh, I love watches. And somebody else gets out afterwards, hey, I love watches. I didn't know that. And you kind of, lots and lots of good reasons. Okay, my turn. This. I do declare. No, that's not what this is. This is a extremely high-tech tool called a paddle, and it's vinyl dry erase. This is for the non-verbals. One of the things I get asked sometimes is, what do you do when there's somebody that dominates the room? And I definitely can't relate to that, and I've definitely never been that person in a room, and definitely never stole all the oxygen in a room by dominating a conversation. That's definitely never happened. But let's just say somebody like that in a group, right? Every group has,
I'm trying not to talk right now.
Every group has those, right? And so what this does is when you ask a question, the same 3, 4, 5, 10 people might answer. But when you go, okay, this one we're going to use the paddle for, this allows people to write down an answer, hold it up. They don't have to worry about speaking out in a group. And what we've found is once you use this, they'll typically you can say, oh, that's really interesting. If you feel comfortable, you mind telling us a little bit more about that. But this is a super powerful tool. Remember, your job isn't to make people engage. And don't read into the room too much, like people were engaged or they weren't. Understand, everybody learns differently. Everybody's comfortable. Your job is to convey information in a way that people want to have it conveyed so that they retain it the way they need to retain it. And remember, not everybody's, like us.
I love using the paddles. I think they're fantastic. You can ask a question, everybody can write it, and then
true or false.
People just love the paddles. Here's something I really like. These are little things that if you set up your training room, you know, one thing I see a lot, and like on Facebook groups and things like that, is people have a training and they have chairs, but they don't have any tables.
Yeah,
and so
I see that.
Get you some tables, get you some notebooks. Be good, do good. And provide people things where they can take notes. If it's an iPad, tell everybody, hey, bring your iPad in because we're going to take some notes. We know that like you forget about 75% of what you learn within 24 hours unless you write it down, so you got to write it down. These things are for like fidgety people.
We don't know anybody like that.
And I'm a bit of that person. And so when I first started training, it would annoy me a little bit if somebody wasn't really paying attention.
Right.
And I would catch people like doodling.
Oh, doodles. We all know doodlers.
And I'm like, hey, look up here. We're doing training. This is important.
See me, love me.
And what I found out was little things like this. If you'll put these out on the table, the little fidgety people like me, they'll play with it.
Yeah.
And that's how they listen, and that's how they learn, and that's the key. And like, it's super interesting when you put these out on the table that you can see how people learn sometimes, because one person won't use them at all, and they're like visual learners. And other people, I saw an engineer one time in California, he built like a skyscraper while I did a training class. It was incredible. Like I kept it for a while. It was really cool. You'll see other people that they'll put all the circles, all the squares and all the triangles in nice little stacks. And so you know how to help people and learn.
The thing about these is if you don't provide them, people find stuff in their pockets. They're jingling their chain. They're playing with their watch, whatever.
Fidget spinners, pipe cleaners. Plumbers love it if you'll buy little things and let them put pipe together while they're listening to a training class. Plumbers. Love it. And and I love plumbers.
All right, we're almost out of time. One last thing. Hey, these are fun. Little buzzers. We get, you can have quizzes. You can put them on. You get the energy level up. You can give points that are worth fruit bucks or Stanley nickels or whatever. Prize wheels in the. We should probably do a follow-up exercise to this on Facebook Live because there's a whole bunch of stuff we didn't even get to.
Sure.
But we're at time. I just want to, if you have any questions about this, reach out. Jerry's the Jedi Master. I'm happy to share how we use props to train obscure abstract lessons. But today, we want to thank our team at Schedule Engine for... Don't do that. Thank the team at Schedule Engine. Hey, really interestingly, if you like this information, Schedule Engine has a blog. If you go to scheduleengine.com, they have a blog site. They have
just for contractors.
Just for contractors. Yeah. There's blogs about stuff like this, but bookmark the page because they have all kinds of great content. So thank you, Schedule Engine, for being a supporter, for making the job easier, and to the incredible people at Emerson. We're so, so grateful. We thank you. Other than that, Jerry, take it away.
Hey, thanks for stopping by the Toolshed today. Build you a little training room and make work fun and people enjoy to help your culture. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping by.
Send
we
us
love
pictures.
you. We care about you. Boom.